Welcome back. We to preview Saturday's Premier League match between Newcastle and Aston Villa at St James's Park. Pascal, start with the home side. Absolutely thumped at Man City last time out.
Yeah, obviously, it's always going to be a tough game going to City, but the way they started the game was just horrendous, wasn't it?
Wow.
Giving away that early penalty, obviously, sort of, faffing around with the ball on the edge of their box. Vernon Anita, heavy touch. City player nips in, he takes him down in the box. It's so stupid from them, and obviously Aguero, he's not going to miss from the spot, is he? And from there, it was all downhill from there. I think, John Carver would have said to his players, let's just start this game solidly, and then they go and do that. So it was always going to be difficult. Obviously, City, they scored some fantastic goals in that game. The Zeko one, it was a brilliant ball over top, slight suspicion of handball maybe, but he stuck it away brilliantly. Silva with two in the second half. The second one was a pinpoint finish right into the corner. Nothing you can do about that. And that's just quality, really. You can't really, account for that. City, if they're going to score goals like that, if you're not going to, you give away one goal like the first one, but when they're scoring quality goals like they were, it's just, you have to say sort of fair play, really. But obviously 5-0, it's a really demoralising loss, isn't it? And they're quite out of form now. They're still in a decent position in the table, but it was a crushing blow for them.
I say decent position in the table, sitting at 11th, what are they, 10 points clear of the bottom three. You're thinking, they're going to be all right. They probably will, won't they? But the fans, I don't think the fans are happy with just being all right. They want to push up the table, keep selling their best players, though. We know all about that. And John Carver, obviously, he's got contract at the end of the season. What's he got to do to? I don't think there's any way he can get that job unless he finishes in the top 8 or something, which I don't think will happen. I think they'll finish it in and around 11th, 12th, and they've only won the last 8 in the league. It's been a poor run of form, and I said that City game. I mean, you can go there and lose, but to get beat 5-0, and they never really had anything in the final third, and it's disappointing because of obviously Carver coming in, got the players up, he knows the players well. I think the players respect him, but I mean, this is a vital game because they're against a Villa side that poor form.
Terrible out of form, Villa. They haven't won a game since early December. They're playing so badly at the moment. Obviously, Tim Sherwood's first game in charge last time. A lot of pressure on him in that first game at home to Stoke City. A game. It was not an easy first game, but it could have been a lot more difficult. Stoke, they're obviously doing quite well under Mark Hughes, but to host them and they were doing all right. Took the lead. Obviously, Scott Sinclair was a good header from him. He's scored now 2 goals since he's come in. He looks like a decent little signing, and you don't usually see him scoring headers like that. It was a good header, got up well and put it right in the corner, but. Obviously, then it was the equaliser just before half time. Crucial to concede just before half time, and obviously the way the Stoke winner, it was just 90 past the 90-minute mark. Ron Vlaar slides in, and he knew it. You could see the minute they didn't even try and appeal to say it wasn't a foul. You could see in his face he knew he'd made a huge mistake, and Moses sticks away the penalty. And it probably couldn't have gone much worse for sure because you take the lead in the first half, gives the fans a good mood, and then you concede just before half time, and then in injury time at the end of the game. So. Even though it was only a 2-1 win, it probably couldn't have gone much worse in the sense of how it sort of developed. So, yeah, terrible start in charge for him.
Yeah, massive blow. And obviously the goals has been the main thing this season. I think we spoke about a lot how we were amazed they weren't in the bottom 3. Obviously, they stayed out of it for long spells, didn't they? Obviously, they're in it now and 4 goals away from home this season, which is, the worst in the league. It's quite obvious. And 13 overall, 13 in 26 games is... I mean, they spoke about Benteke when he had that great season. I think there's people talking about 25 million. You wonder whether they'd take it. I'm not saying it's Benteke's fault, but he struggled with a lack of service. But it's been positive. Carlos Gil's come in, done really well. Let's say Scott Sinclair has got a couple of goals, which is obviously a big thing. He did really well at Swansea before he went to City. So, but goals as a whole, I mean, if Villa are going to win a game, they have to keep a clean sheet because you can't see him winning games 2-1. When it was 1-1 last time out against Stoke, it was... They really pushed on, did they? And let's say later on, Ron Vlaar, when he did that, he said you could tell by looking at his face, and it had to be Ron Vlaar, who's probably their best player, which is difficult. But Sherwood needs to start turning it around. That's for certain.
Definitely, like I said earlier, it's not they haven't won since December the 7th, which was against Leicester, obviously bottom of the table, Leicester, and since then, just 3 points out of 33 in total. In those 11 games since then, it's just terrible. 6 defeats in a row. It is now. It's such a big task for Sherwood. They're not out of it at all. They're still just. Quite 19th in the table, but they're not far off getting out of it. But when you look at the other sides around them, you just think there's more fight in them. You look at like a Burnley side. Burnley, they go and draw at Chelsea last week. QPR, they're looking a bit better under Chris Ramsey. They've sort of had a change, but Sherwood, he needs to really sort of get a good string of results together because they've got games coming up now. Newcastle here, Newcastle is a game they can win. St James, not the easiest place to go, but then they host West Brom, go to London, and then host Swansea. So the next sort of 4 games are all games that. Even though Villa, they're a side down there, you might say they're winnable games for them. And you think out of the next 4, they probably need to win at least 2 of them to, maybe get themselves out and give themselves a real chance, going into sort of the last couple of months of the season.
Yeah, you speak about Villa's games coming up decent. I think Newcastle, they play Manchester United, Everton, Arsenal in their next 3. So if they don't get a positive result here, it could quickly go quite wrong for them. So can you see him getting a positive result here? What's your score prediction?
I think this is a really tough one to call because Sherwood, obviously, it wasn't the best start for him, but he's now had a week with the players since he's seen them in action. So he's had a week to work with them and try and address the areas that he really thinks have gone wrong. So I think they might just get something. I'm going to go for them to get a draw. I'm going to go 1-1.
Yeah, I'm actually going to agree as well. It's neither in great form, but I can see Villa just getting something. Let's say Sherwood coming in, both back in 1-1 draws in this one. Thanks for joining us.